What's up, people? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so I got Dragon right here on the screen. I want to do a video right here talking about 5 cards that I feel can/should come off the ban list. There's gonna be a couple cards in here that are pretty much that are very much based on my opinion. There's this one right here, which is like the low-hanging fruit, which is like a really obvious choice. Like, yeah, like of course this doesn't deserve to be on the ban list. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just get into the video. Don't want to go on a rant. If you like what's going on here, please like and subscribe. If not, it's all good. Let's go for the ride. We're gonna start off with Zodiac Trident. Yeah, Zodiac Trident. Everyone knows what Trident does. It simply destroys a face-up card on the field. Back in 2017, 2018, this was really good. This was pretty much gonna win you the game almost by itself in certain situations, depending if your opponent could get around it. So I don't understand why now, where there are so many ways to get rid of monsters on the field, to to like not only negate effects but to like play around things. So many things benefit from being destroyed. I don't know why Trident is still, it was unbanned for a bit, and then it got it got put on the ban list like a couple lists ago. So I don't know why it was put on there. I think it was really unjustly put on there. I like it there because I like it at 1. Like I guess 3 would be a little too much. I guess if you bring back Broad Bull, it could open up some crazy strategies, because if you give too many cards back to Zodiac, then it can become tier 1. Like very much you want to, if you give it, even giving it 1, even like if you put Rat to 2 and the Bull to 1, that and Dryden to 1, that right there could actually make a tier 1 deck out of nowhere. But just having Dryden, and as long as you have Rat at 1, then you have the Broad Bull, ban. Dryden at 1 becomes a very good rogue deck option for not only like budget players, but for people that are getting like just getting into Yu-Gi-Oh. That's like like what kind of deck do you want to give them that's decent, that could kind of give them a win, but then help them understand, but it's also broken and they won't be bored as hell. And the 2 decks that I like to tell people to start, it's only 1 now. I tell people to start Salamangre. I think Salamangre is a really good deck, a really good, good deck to like introduce all the things that like Yu-Gi-Oh's about. It has combos, it has the grind game, has linking, has XYZ, has traps. It has a lot of stuff that that people can learn. And I said 2 decks, but the other deck that I used to tell people, but I can't tell them no more, is Zodiac. Zodiac was very simple. It was very cheap. I think you could probably get the engine for like less than $10, and it's a very it was a deck where you could like build it pure and make like a good road deck. But then if you wanted to get serious, you could add it with you could combine it with Tri Brigade, and that could turn into an actual like maybe like tier 1, tier 1.5 deck that you can actually win locals with. I mean, you can win local with just pure Zodiac, but but something you go into more local to feel more confidence and have maybe a couple easier games. So with them not having Trident, it just really sucks, because it makes the Zodiac engine really like pretty much bad. It gets rid of the whole like 1 card Mega Clops, which was a little bit, I guess that's a little bit unfair, but at the same time, it's like for the other cards that are on the ban list, like is really a 1 card Mega Clops could be stopped with 1 hand trap, really something you really want to be afraid of. So I really feel like Zodiac Dragon should be brought back, at least to 1. Okay, and then this one right here, I just have Blaster only because Blaster is pretty much like my favorite Dragon Ruler, and I guess they would choose 1. The next one I want them to bring back is Blaster, but in reality, this is pretty much a call for all of the Dragon Rulers. I know right now we have Tempest, and like hasn't really done anything. And yes, I do understand that unleashing all 4 of the Dragon Rulers, and because they have the the baby rulers, those are all unlimited. If yeah, because yeah, I just looked at the list. Those are all not on the list anymore. So I could see that, yeah, maybe there would be something crazy happening, but that would be really cool and fun to see some type of modern day Dragon Ruler deck kind of playing. Because essentially it would just be like Dragon Link. I mean, like yeah, I'm just casually like, oh, just be Dragon Link. Yeah, no, it would be a very good version of Dragon Link that has a lot of grind game, a lot of comeback ability, a lot of beaters. But there's, at the same time, I guess for the same for the same argument, there are a lot of cards to combat this. Way more cards to like counter any kind of Dragon Ruler or any kind of graveyard strategy that are out now than they were back in the day. So like back then there was no shifter. Like there was no, lightning storm. You didn't have evenly matched. We didn't have all these. You didn't have as many cards, and then have them, at 3 to combat these boards. So I really feel like I mean, like maybe they bring it back once and have to reban it because it's like, yeah, that was too broken. But I would really love to see Yu-Gi-Oh with the Dragon Lords out, because hey, well, you never know, like maybe they come out and they're actually just mid and they become kind of like the new Zodiac deck that I tell people, hey, if you want to start like a decent deck that's pretty good, but but a hop that could win, but it's not like super expensive, maybe Dragon Lords could be that deck, because I really would like to have Dragon Lords back in the format. I just really love playing that format. I know a lot of people are scared. I guess for me, I'm a little biased because like I really I kind of like really focus. Well, I had a lot of eras Yu-Gi-Oh that I really focus on, but like I guess one of my main focuses, like well, like one of the, like I guess like one of the first times I could really concentrate. I could really concentrate. That's a weird way to say it. One of the first times I could really think back and to a time where I was just super concentrated on trying to figure out everything in the Yu-Gi-Oh deck. That was with Dragon Rulers, because I didn't I didn't have the entire Dragon Ruler deck. It was pretty expensive, but I did manage to luckily get my hands on 3 of every Dragon Ruler. I actually pulled a Draco Sack from like actually from a booster pack. So like I got really lucky, and I also had myself like a job back then. So like I was I was able to like pay and actually get like a decent little budget version of Dragon Rulers, and like I just dedicated myself to figuring out everything I could possibly do with that deck. Oh, sorry about that. And I don't know, I really just like to see the Dragon Rulers come back. And if it's just one, I want it to be Blaster. Orcus Harp Horror. This card number 3. I put it right in the middle because I'm not really too sure about if I actually want this to come back. The main reason why I put it on here was because it's been on there for so long and it really isn't doing too much. Well, okay, well it's banned, that's why I don't do too much. But it's been on there for so long, and I don't think it would do as much as people think it would. Yeah, okay, yes, it would open up it would potentially open up a bit, but like without all of the extra deck monsters to abuse all the chainable stuff, it really it wouldn't really be something as crazy as like people are thinking like, oh, they're gonna start the whole Orcus combo again. It's like, well, I mean, like you would have to have more setup to do like that full combo to be able to go through everything like that, and maybe you might see the them play the Link monster again, with the get what's her name, Galatea, yes, Galatea. Wow, I was having a moment where I just going back and forth in my head trying to remember that name. But yeah, you're probably gonna see her. Then you would see the Orcish Crescendo. You'd probably see some of that play. But like I said, there's decks that do way more broken stuff. So I could really see like Harp Horror coming off the list and really wouldn't be that big of a deal. The next card is Magic Specter Unicorn Kieran. So this card, a lot of people are probably gonna maybe disagree with me a bit, but it back then this was like when this was like at its peak, this was like one of the best pendulum monsters in the game. It was a low scale. It had it didn't have it didn't have obviously had a pendulum effect, but just during the player's turn you could track one pendulum monster in your monster zone and one monster your opponent controls, return them to the hand. You could basically target itself and then a monster controls and then flip it back to the hand, and it basically became you could always like bring it back, especially if you had your pendulum scales already set and you had it set to summon 6s. You were essentially bringing this card back every single turn, constantly bouncing stuff, and that's what actually got it banned. It was during like because it wasn't even the Magic Specters that got them banned. It was more when it was used in like the Metapho decks, because I very much remember my friend Eddie back then constantly playing freaking like this Kieran, and I remember him playing in the Metaphos, and just he'd always catch me with it, and it was just very frustrating because like he could use it to be like a low scale to like do his combos, and then if he had 2 of them, it could just use it to bounce stuff, and then like it's just it's during either player's turn, so it's a quick effect, so it's basically like compulse. So like I see why maybe Konami might be a little hesitant on bringing something like this back, because like there isn't a good pendulum deck out there now, but if there ever was, they would very much want to have Kieran. But I could see them bringing it back at 1 just to kind of have it, because there's a lot of cards that you kind of just want to have the option to have. Like even if they might be like troublesome, you still want other decks to have a chance. And I kind of feel like they should bring back Kieran and give pendulum decks a little like a little extra, because I understand like the only pendulum deck I've really seen is the freaking Draco Slayer one. That's not really that's not really too much pendulum. That's really more just like comboing off and stuff. So yeah. All right, and the last card that I have on this list is Fiber Jar. Fiber Jar It's like I'm gonna read the effect. Each player shuffles all cards from their hand, field, and graveyard into their deck, and then draw 5 cards. It essentially resets the duel, and like I understand, and like I understand that you don't want to just invite stuff like this in. I understand you don't want to just allow this to kind of be out there. I understand you don't want to just have potential cheese like that because I know that there are ways to like abuse the game, but also at the same time, tur duels don't go long enough for this to really be abused that much. Like, I mean, maybe there might be a situation where a guy like combos off turn one, bam, 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 and then he sets this, and then for some reason just attacks into it, even though he has a board full of monsters. And yeah, it could really, maybe it might like do something. But there's so much like not only like removal before it gets the flip, but just monster negation built into monsters that are already going to be on the board to where this card really doesn't do anything. So like bringing it off the list to 1, 2, or 3 really isn't going to do anything. But like maybe three might be pushing it because you can do some stall strategies, and this could be this could be crazy depending on how it goes. But bringing this off the list at 1 will really pretty much not do anything, and I really could see Konami bringing this card back sometime this year. All right, guys, that's gonna be it. Yeah, it's gonna be it. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I was gonna say it's been a while since I did any kind of list, like like any type of list. Like I do the investment videos, and the investment videos do have like the kind of they are like like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 type thing. But this is I haven't really done like a list in a while, so like hopefully you guys enjoy this one, and I do want to do more because there are other cards that I want to talk about that maybe aren't banned or at 1 that could come off the ban list, or I guess maybe talking about exactly how many copies that I feel a card should come back to. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This is not really a balanced discussion, more of just like discussion of cards that I feel could come off the list. And yeah, that'll be it, guys. Peace out. I'll catch you in the next one.